It is still Morning Express, weekend edition on ADBN TV. Well, there's been a major discussion across different platforms concerning the recent talk about a review for public office holders. They talk about their salaries not being reviewed in a number of years. I think the last was in 2008. And so it's they're requesting or looking at ways which that can be done to also assist them in handling the pressures that comes with the office. And so today, we're looking at that, the review of salaries of public office holders. And joining us to have this conversation, Ike is still here, Chukwueme is still here. And joining us virtually is a an analyst, I beg your pardon, a political economist and public affairs analyst. I'm talking about Chukwueme Kennedy, joining us virtually from Abuja. Good morning and welcome to Morning Express.
Good morning, Mr. Kennedy. Can you hear us?
Yeah, good morning. Good morning.
Welcome to Morning Express. How are you? We're fine. Thank you very much. And we're looking at the talk about review of salaries of public office holders and understanding that it's been years since there was any form of review in their salaries. There has been the talk about some of them who desire the review to resign as the economic situation in the country may not favor that. But do you share in that opinion, considering the fact that there has been a review of salaries for workers in the public sector, not just once? Since 2008, there's been from the 30,000 naira to 70,000 naira, and that has covered some aspects of the issues, but not for public office holders. They are Nigerians too. Shouldn't there be some form of review for them?
Mr. Kennedy, are you there? Seem to be having that network problem with Mr. Kennedy.
Okay, Mr. Kennedy, can you hear us
now? Mr. Kennedy, go ahead.
Yes, we can hear you now.
I can hear little is if we actually look at it, we're going to look at it in two ways. One, we're going to look at the economic implication, the political implication, as well as the social implication. All right?
Yeah.
Yes, we can. Go ahead, please.
Okay. We now see that government revenue is already shown by high debt service obligation, rising inflation, and heavy recurrent expenditure. Increasing salaries for politicians would further expand the wage bill, worsening the imbalance between current and capital expenditure. This could reduce funds available for infrastructure, healthcare, education, or other critical sectors. Also, it also risk inflammatory pressure as higher spending by a small group of people, as the elites, could distort price stability in an already fragile economy. Another important implication of this is the growing disparity between the salaries of political elites and the ordinary civil servants, where federal workers only receive a 25% to 35% pay rise in 2024. The proposed increase for politicians is far higher. This sharp contrast could deepen wage inequality and provoke further demand for upper adjustment for civil servants, most especially unions, and additionally other persons, putting more pressure on our treasury.
Mr. Kennedy.
Implication of this
Mr. Kennedy. Yes, I'd like to ask you, Mr. Kennedy, are workers deserving of a wage review? Irrespective of their class, are workers deserving of periodic wage review?
We have to actually go into a living wage. Most of the workers that actually do public work does not actually depend on that only, because the more workers are being paid, they don't spend the money on themselves alone. They also spend the money on the entire economy. That is, they buy goods, they pay rent, they pay their children's school fees and so. So the money also go around.
So Mr. Kennedy, forgive me. If you say workers are deserving of periodic wage review, I mean, consequent on the economic factors, politicians, are they not workers as well?
And don't they have demands to make?
But we should understand one thing between politicians and civil servants. Politicians are those people who actually, in a normal society or in an ideal society, these people beg to come and serve. Nobody forces them to come into the place to come and serve. They beg to come and serve. And if they are serving, does not mean that they have to put more pressure on us and they want to pay them higher wages the way they want. So it is not compulsory that they must be there. If they are not there, other persons can come there and pick up the job. And that is it.
But if we're looking at the scenario of things, we know how politicians or public office holders' areas or houses are usually trooped in. Whether they're available or not, there are people constantly under demand that they are there because of them, and so should take care of their daily needs. You see some requesting for jobs, some coming requesting for food. These demands require a lot of finances, a lot of money to finance, and you don't expect that to be managed with the salary they currently receive. And requesting for a review might just be to take care of these demands by the people. Don't you think so?
Mr. Kennedy, are you there?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Hello?
Yes, we can
Mr.
hear you.
Kennedy,
Go ahead.
we're here.
Okay.
Okay, so it's like you didn't get her question.
Okay, I was talking about the daily demands for public office holders, even as House of Reps members or Senate members. You see people towing and trooping to their houses, requesting for, making demands for so many things, stating the fact that they are there because of them and they're representing the people, and as such, their needs becomes their needs, and so they should take care of that. Don't you think with the high economic times or the harsh economic times, their salaries should be reviewed so they can as well handle or take care of the demands by their constituents and the people they are representing?
Okay, if we look at it that way, we are going to look at, in an ideal society, hello?
Yes, go ahead, we can hear you.
In an ideal society, where people are called to serve, all right? It is because of the nature of the society that most people put pressure on their representatives. These are the instruments of their school fees, wedding, funerals, and many other things. All right? As a result of that, most of these persons who actually go into politics do not actually, they spend land, sell houses, do other things in order to come in. Why are they doing it? Because there is more money in the politics. In an ideal society where things are normal, these persons are not supposed to spend anything, and nobody will come to them. Those who actually are supposed to come to them, those people are to like meet them and say, this is the bill I want you to pass in the National Assembly. These are the things I want you to do for my constituency. Of which it will not be their money, it will be for the public goods of the society. But in an African society or in developing societies, it now turns to the other way, whereby a senator has to take care of the constituency, members of the constituency, they do protest for them, give them bag of rice on celebration basis, those who want to do wedding, those whose children are in the hospital, those who get accidents, those who are sick, those who want to pay school fees, and many other things. So there are now more pressure on them. And the only thing they need now is to push for more wages so that they need to meet up with the demand. And this is actually very, very wrong.
Now, if you agree, if that analysis you gave, which is what Jennifer was trying to talk about, if you agree that there is increased pressure on the political office holder, public office holders and the politicians alike, if you agree that there's increased pressure for them to meet people's demands, don't you think it is also sensible that, you know, they have enough money to make these demands? Because, I mean, one would ask, for all these needs that they need, all these interventions and palliatives and everything that they give to people, where they get the money from?
Okay. Yeah, based on your submission now, in an ideal society whereby there are good governance, people will not need to come to that representative to ask them for money. If the representatives are good enough, or they are good product of the society, or they know what they are doing, you should put up legislation for what? Better education, good care, health facility, good road network, loan for farmers, loan for traders. When all these things are done, who comes to you? Nobody will care to come to you to go and get anything from you. Because some of these legislations, sorry to say, some of them are blockheads. They don't even know what to do. They don't even know what to pass.
Well,
they don't even know
that term is a very, very strong term. Your views there, although you apologize for the use of the term, it's a very strong term. However, I would ask you a question to the contrary. The question I'd like to ask you, looking at the peculiarity of where we are, Nigeria, with the poverty level and the disparity, you know, the demarcation between the rich and the poor, the favored and the people who are not favored. If politicians and public office holders are supposed to go into office to perhaps represent their people and take care of their needs as well, how do we expect them to do all of this? And will it not be suspicious if they keep doing these things and we do not know where they draw their monies from?
Well, let me also bring up to speed. The current salary of the president is 1.5 million naira. And for the ministers, they earn less than 1 million naira every month. Now, you know how many thousands he gets for 1 million. And with all of the demands, where do you expect the money to come from?
Yes, what you are saying, you are not very far from the points. But what I'm saying in the essence is that in an ideal society where there is welfare for the citizens, where politics is not a business, because in Nigeria now, politics is not a business, such a way that people want to sponsor people into office. Not because that the people want to deliver good governance, but because of stomach infrastructure. So when this politics, when this society continue to move in that way, there's going to be a chaos, and that is what is actually happening. Whereby there are more demand for those who are representing us in the office, not actually because more demand for good governance, but more demand for what? Stomach infrastructure. So this system, that's what we are looking at, that this system have to change. And we cannot continue to live in this kind of society where I have to go to my senator if I need a job. I have to go to my senator if I need money. I have to go to my if I need any other thing. But in this society, I have to go to my senator and say, look, the road to my place is not good. The road to our farm is not good. We need fertilizers. We need this. We need this. No, put up a legislature or help you to.
But
put up a proposal.
Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Kennedy, if you let me, this ideal, if you would give me some time, this ideal society we do not have at the moment, where everything is fixed, everything is in place. What would you rather we do as a people?
And just to support her position, you're talking about in an ideal society, this has to change. May I ask you what change exactly?
Hello?
Mr. Kennedy, can you hear us?
Yeah.
You're saying there should be a departure from what it used to be. There should be a change. What change exactly?
Yes. One of the change we should have these things to change is good electoral system.
Go on.
Yes,
yeah.
go on.
If you have a very good electoral system, you see, those who have the capacity, integrity, and ability to govern the people will be voted for. And those who do not have the ability or do not have the capacity voted out from office. By so doing, who will present us and who actually push to one and who will give governance to the people. Because when this governance comes, which will be the time. But if eventually we have everything in our society, they will make pressure on the legislators to bring a good because giving them students is actually giving them a statement in such a way that.
Hello?
Are you still there?
Well, I think because of the network situation. Mr. Kennedy, if you can hear us, we just wanted to say thank you for your submission, though, and the points you've made, although the network has not been favorable to allow clarity from your end. But we thank you nonetheless for joining us this morning. Thank you again, Mr. Kennedy.
Okay. All right. We've been speaking with a political economist and public affairs analyst, Mr. Chukwueme Kennedy, and he joined us virtually. Well, the network didn't let us speak with him a lot further. We'll take a break now. When we return, we'll still have an more elaborate discussion still on this issue about the review of salaries of public office holders. And this time around, we will be speaking with another incredible person, a member of the National Working Committee of the APC, Dr. Chris Akpan. He'll talk to us about his angle of the review of salaries. Wait till then.
Welcome back. As been rightly introduced, our guest is already seated and ready to do justice to the conversation. But just to lay a bit of a background for you, the viewer, so that you know where we're coming from. Having talked about it, the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission, RMAFC, has commenced a review of the remuneration packages for political, public and judicial office holders across the country. Now, this was contained in a statement which was issued in Abuja yesterday, and by the head of the Information and Public Relations Unit of the RMAFC, Mariam Yusuf. Now, the chairman of the Remuneration and Monetization Committee, RMAFC, Mohammed Usman, disclosed this particular intention at a retreat which was organized by the Commission in Kano. Usman said the importance of the review was for the growth of Nigeria's governance structure. He went ahead to say, and I quote, "The effort is also a significant move towards the implementation of one of the Commission's core mandates." Besides the RMAFC's chairman, who had already disclosed President Tinubu earns about 1.5 million, which Jennifer talked about, monthly as a salary, while ministers got less than $1 million. The figures he described are outdated. Said the last time they were looked at was sometime in 2008. Now, this has generated a lot of reactions. The candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, and some other persons, they waded in, and everyone is having a bite of the conversation. Some people say these reviews are being considered as Nigerian star. Some people say denying a vast majority of Nigerians to allocate increase revenue for a small group of persons is insensitive. Dr. Chris, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
And looking at this review of salaries, do they really deserve a review, or this is just a way of hijacking more of the national cake for themselves?
Well, let me tell you, in senior societies, entrenched demographic societies like Israel and the Netherlands, like some European countries, inflation is factored into wages, so that wages are adjusted automatically, as inflation either increases or decreases.
Across board?
Yes, generally, across board. So my thinking is that in a developing society like Nigeria, wages should be based on how much revenue we are getting as a country, and Also, don't forget the issue of productivity. Productivity should be part of the final evaluation of what people earn. But like in a society where the depreciation in the value of the naira has eaten much into what people have as take-home pay and the value of what you are really given as salaries and wages. My thinking is, yes, there should be a periodical review to ensure that the purpose of paying you a living wage is not negated. Because it is said that a laborer deserves his wages. And the wages that you deserve should be commensurate with the work you are doing.
But these are people the common man would see as very rich people and classify them in the class in the strata where these people already have money. Why are you reviewing their salaries? What have they done to warrant a review of their salaries?
They had money when? Before they came into office or after?
Well, it is assumed that before coming into office, politics is expensive in Nigeria.
They were really rich. Is that what you mean? Before they came to occupy public offices?
Yes.
Well, my thinking is that that should not be a factor.
Why shouldn't it be?
Remember when Donald Trump came in, they calculated his wages and told him what he will be earning. And he said, no, give me $1. You remember? Give me $1. That is what I would consider the proper wage for me. So my thinking is that it would be very wrong to assume that everybody who goes into public office had made money somewhere else. No. There are people who are genuinely coming in to serve, and they might have been brought in as a result of their expertise. For example, you take somebody from the university to come and serve in a political office. How much money do you think he had come in with? So my thinking is that the money given should be evaluated on the basis of the work he's doing and the worth of what he's doing currently, not what people think he had made earlier. It does not apply.
But Dr. Chris, if I may say, 1.5 million as a salary monthly, if we say that's what the president is earning.
Yes.
70,000, 80,000 in some states as minimum wage.
Yes.
Big disparity. While increase 1.5.
You mean as for the president's own?
Yeah.
Yes.
One, the magnitude of the work that the president is doing. It is not time related. It is a complete commitment of your whole self. Granted that our president might have been rich before he came to the office. But what I think he should be paid has implications, especially with regard to how others rate and evaluate the office. For example, if a president in, say, Zambia, as a much poorer country than Nigeria, takes some wages, maybe in the region of, say, equivalent of $200,000, when you rate it. And the Nigerian president, with the size of the country and the volume of what is expected to do, goes home with what, like the case of $1.5 million, something in the region of maybe $20,000-$30,000. It doesn't make sense. My thinking is that the prestige of the country is also part of what we are talking about. So 1.5 million naira for a president is rather low, by my thinking. And I think...
But sorry to interject you.
Yes.
It is generally accepted that that office is a public office.
Yes.
And also it's an office where you're coming in to serve.
Yes.
There are perks and accruables,
yes,
which are not mentioned, which one believes will be more than enough to cater to the need of a political office holder. Say, for example, the office of the president.
Yes.
Why review them?
No, the review is not that. Maybe the president actually really needs the money that is given to him to survive. No, not so. Where it should be reviewed is the prestige that should go with the office. Not necessarily that the president will go hungry if the salary is not reviewed. No, it's not got to do with that. My thinking is that it should be reviewed to kind of, apart from the needs of the office, the prestige that should go with it.
So it's not about Mr. President now, it's about the office.
Of course, yes. Of course, yes. The office is important. It's not that the president will go hungry if we don't review the salary upwards. No, not about that.
Are you not concerned about
the salary should be commensurate to the office?
Are you not concerned about the agitation that is hunger in the land, and there are other things, and that a review of the political office holder's salary will further put pressure on the scarce resources?
Yes, but let me tell you, the workers we are talking about, their wages, they end that for life. They retire, continue on pensionable appointments. As a politician, you may be in office for 2 years. If you are maybe a commissioner, the governor decides to review the cabinet and throw you out. So how do you survive? What you are earning at that point should be able to sustain you, not now, also for the future. So my thinking is that 1.5 million naira for a president and below 1 million naira for ministers is not adequate.
Should we be protecting their future or the future of the country?
They are tied together. The politicians are Nigerians, and they will play politics even after they have left the office. So it should apart from that, we are talking of corruption. People stealing from the till, from the public till. If you know that you have security in terms of by the time you leave office, you can still go on with your life and so on. The urge to steal the much we do here will reduce. A significant percentage of our revenue and what we appropriate is stolen. I hope you know that.
Stolen by who?
By those that are supposed to take care of it. So if we review the salaries and get what we pay them to be commensurate with their needs in the office, that might reduce.
Is it not indicting if you say those that are supposed to take care of it are the ones still in it? And if I'm thinking in line with your analysis of people who are supposed to take care of it are still in it, well, it will be the politicians, isn't it?
But with the cooperation of Abraham, no politician will steal a coup. We have the cooperation of the civil servants.
So if we agree that the politicians are the ones stealing,
yes,
then why are they asking for more?
No. It's not in every case. I did not say so. I said most or some. Not in every case. There are politicians who go into office. For example, if you serve in a commission, maybe like the Boundaries Commission, how much is there to steal there? You serve in an office that is not what we consider juicy. Contracts and so on. So what will you steal? That's why the basic thing must be enough to take care of, so that you don't bother about having to dip your hand in the public team.
But then the unions are now beginning to talk about a review of theirs as well. If you're reviewing for the public office holders, yes, then you should consider the workers and pensioners. For some are even talking of 250,000 monthly wages,
which was proposed earlier.
Will not even be what they will take if there is a review for the public office holders.
I agree with you. But they also have to accept the size of our economy. One, we are not a rich country by any standard. And what they look for has to be in line with what we realize as a country. Now we're talking of productivity here. How much of the workers who are looking for a review, if we want to evaluate and assess each person on the merits of that case, can we really say our economy is as productive as it should be to warrant massive increase in wages? No. In fact, we are producing less now than we used to produce 30, 40 years ago. And to that extent, workers that are lucky to have a job should not even be talking of increasing wages.
Why shouldn't they?
Because if you want us to increase what you are earning, tell us what you have been doing. Let us put it on the scale and weigh.
But if the workers were not working, the politicians who hold this office would not have anything to do. In fact, they've been said to be the engine room.
Of what?
Of the civil service, the public service, you name it. These workers that are agitating for increment They are the ones that, make things happen. So if you do not increase their salaries and you want to increase yours, is that not dictatorial, a tendency?
No, it's not. How many politicians are earning a salary? And how many workers do we have? It's not at all. In fact, the gap, the wage gap, if properly done, it should not be so much between the workers and the politicians.
But Dr. Chris, if you say when it comes to an increment or a review for workers, we talk about the economy. We should consider the economy. We should look at the times and how that can be done.
Yes.
But if we're looking at review for the public office holders, we are talking about that they deserve it. And it's been a while considering the demands of work in their offices, the prestige of their offices. Why is that disparity?
Yes. You can easily assess one. You cannot easily assess the other.
Why?
The politician coming in. It is very easy for the public to gauge and for whoever appointed you to know precisely whether you are contributing to the economy or not. I know of civil servants where I'm living who go to work only when it is about time to pay. And they enjoy promotion on time and other purposes. So you don't compare the two. They are very different things. One can be easily evaluated, assessed, and remunerated. The other cannot.
But is that office not an office for service? I mean, you're coming to serve. And if you're coming to serve, you should be content with what you're given.
Yes. Let me get you right. You are saying that we should, then in that case, people should be told to serve as humanitarians, free of charge. People can say, after all, we are serving as a politician and so on. Come and serve the nation free. But you are going to abandon your business, whatever you were doing to earn a living, to provide public for the public. And in that circumstance, how do you go back? How do you feed your family and so on? People should not only earn well as politicians, realizing that the job is not permanent, you soon leave. And realizing also that each job can be easily evaluated and assessed.
But you weren't called to come serve. You went for the position.
Oh, you mean okay? You're talking of elected people now.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that will depend on the budget, what was provided for.
Now, Dr. Chris, I'd like to ask you. Jennifer alluded to something, and I'd like to take it from another direction.
Yes.
When it comes to increasing the salary of the common worker. They're asked to be considerate. We do not have that much. Don't you think that the politicians, they say what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Don't you think the politicians should also be considerate, knowing that in this economy, we don't have, as you said, we're not exactly as rich as we appear to be or paint ourselves to be. The politicians should be considered as well. And whoever's talking about reviewing the salaries for the politicians should also know that when you discuss this, the ripple effect is that others will ask for theirs.
The resources are finite. The resources available are finite. And what is infinite is the number of people that we can take on these services. So my thinking is that if workers say, no problem, they can earn as much as they want, but they have to accept that the size of the service is reduced. You understand the point I'm talking? Nigeria can afford to pay workers. One, by the time you evaluate the productivity as per each worker and want to do what is proper. Then of course, you know that if 100,000 people do a job of what that 3 or 4 or 5,000 people should be doing.
Dr. Chris, let me ask you.
Yes, ask.
As some people have said, that if you're not satisfied with the current wage given as a public service, public office holder, then maybe just resign and go take up your private business.
Fine. Shouldn't that also apply to the workers?
The worker doesn't have a choice.
No, he has.
The politician has a choice. He has his private business concern before coming into office to serve.
There is no conscription. As far as Nigerian labor is concerned, the recruitment process, nobody is conscripted. You are there on your own volition. I was stressed. So I want to work. And you are given a job. And then the point that is on ground is that if what you are being given is not commensurate,
resign.
So that should apply both to the politician and to the worker.
So if you want the workers who are not ready to accept their wage and feel the wage is not enough to consider resigning, don't you think that should be led by the politicians whose salaries are being considered now, knowing that it will bring increased allocations for them and put a lot of pressure in the scarce resources? They should be thinking of resigning if they're not happy about it. And more so, we've not had any of them come out to say that they are not exactly satisfied. It's a Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission committee that is thinking ahead.
So why should the worker be exempted from this requirement? Why should the workers that are looking for an increase in wages when the economy of the country cannot bear? Why wouldn't they think of other alternatives?
Well, this wasn't made by the public office holders themselves.
Yes.
Rather, a committee saw that perhaps this is what we should be looking at, a review of salaries for the public office holders.
Perfect.
But in your angle, in your review of their activities and all what that they do in their offices, do they deserve any form of review whatsoever?
No, you cannot have a blanket kind of thing. There are politicians who do not leave the office until 1 or 2 a.m. due to the pressure of work. I've known such people. Some ministers do not close. Sometimes the family has to bring food to them in the office. I've seen that many times. For example, when the current Senate president was minister in the Niger Delta, I've sat with you in the office until 4 a.m. one day. How can you pay him? What do you think should be paid in that circumstance? Will you work around the clock to ensure that things happen and government continues to receive?
Well, Nigerians don't see it that way. Nigerians see it as their offices are flamboyant. There's so much glamour in those offices. And so if we're talking about their salaries, then it's already good enough.
The glamour should take a significant percentage of the wage.
Dr. Chris?
Yes.
One thing that we're not told is the other accruals. We're only told about the salary.
Yes.
There are other additives, accruals, benefits.
Those ones are neither here nor there. The assumption is that other perquisites are there. That's it.
Yes, please.
Hey, well, you may not have that. What if the budget that you had made is not completely funded? What if you have no capital and receipts? What if how would the accruals amount to anything much if that office is not funded? As if we have budget problems. So that is neither. That one is being speculative. What is definite is what you take home. What is written in the books. A minister should go home with 1 or 2 million naira. That's yours. The accruals now include what we're talking about now. The corruption comes from those accruals. You understand what I'm saying?
Let us look at the political perspective of this, which some people are saying the president should consider. Most recently, Lowell, one of those political persons, that say that it's a setup for the president to have the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Committee be talking about this now, that it has a political implication, knowing that the economy is what it is at this point. Yes. Do you think, or do you not see this as another image denter for the president?
No, I don't see that, sorry. In fact, if we have to think about remunerating the president properly, look at where we came from. Moving to where we are now economically, in terms of the robustness of our currency, in terms of the growth in the economy, in terms of all that has been happening positively in the economy of this country.
But why now? At least according to the World Trade Organization, DG, the economy has been stabilized. And with this increment, wouldn't that further puncture
put a lot of pressure?
Economic fragility.
What percentage of the national growth in terms of the economy would the president's salary increase take?
Adjustments will be spread across board, not just the salary. It will also be It will also reflect on their accruals and the other benefits.
No, it doesn't necessarily have to. But in any case, we calculate in percentage. Now, after all the accruals and all the proposed or the expected benefit, what percentage would that be in terms of the total economy of the country? Those who are saying so are not being realistic, not being honest. If a man works well, performs well, he should be rewarded as per the performance.
Okay, we're getting into the elections in no distant time.
Yes.
The by-elections just concluded recently,
Yes.
and people. I'd like to get your thought about that first off, before we, conclude this conversation.
Yes.
This period that Nigerians are looking forward to credible elections and talking about the economy rebounding and things picking up for the better, having this kind of conversation going into an election, is it good for the president?
Some are even speculating that this increment is to help them fund
the oncoming election.
Yeah.
That's really funny. What percentage of the salary will fund the election? No, it's not about that. My thinking is that, of course, you'll agree with me that APC as a party did well in that election. I predicted in some other forum, not on this, that the election is going to be a landslide for APC. And given the margin that we left all the other parties, I think 4 seats only of the 16 they took 4, we had 12. Does that contradict what I say? No. My thinking is that our party by 2027 may not even have something we call sufficient credible opposition to challenge us. APC is doing very well for Nigeria at this particular time. And I think all the other parties struggling to be on the ballot should willingly throw in the towel and come to fight behind us.
Willingly throw.
Yes, given what is going on ground.
What is going on ground?
That's what I want to tell you now. Look at all key sectors of the Nigerian economy that were in the doldrums. All key sectors. We were right in the pit by the time Tinubu came in as president. And if we had continued a little more, Nigeria would have been written off as a totally bankrupt nation.
Well, don't you think the removal of the fuel subsidy, with some people saying without commensurate plans on ground, compounded the situation even more?
What could you have that prepared the commensurate plan? Because if you say buses had to be bought, all these things had to be done before the removal of the fuel subsidy. So how much revenue would have accrued to the country?
Floating of the naira, you're not concerned about that. Many people have criticized it as well.
Why shouldn't it be floated? Some people will stay good in the central bank, collect the naira, collect dollars, stand somewhere else and sell, and become instant millionaires. Is that how to run an economy? We must be thinking of production.
Well,
it's productivity that will move this country, not printing currency. In any case, who tells you which economy can you point at as having been decreed into prosperity?
There are some social media reactions. Let's just take a few of them.
You walk your way to prosperity.
Get up with the conversation. The social media reactions on the issue of review of salaries. This one is from Mayor of Oru Nation. It says 2025 and minimum wage is still below 100K, but the highest paid politicians want to increase theirs again. And the ease with which they identify the reason. I won't read that. Use 50K judiciously, but now earnings are insufficient for us at the top. It's okay. From this other one, Chinwe Igbomon says, wow, that's fine, because the politicians work so hard and they're earning peanuts. I'm so happy for them. The workers can get theirs when they are serious and working hard. Okay. Alabi Stephen says here, they introduced...
We will allow some level of sarcasm. We are talking about money here.
Okay. Alabi Stephen says, they introduced new taxes for struggling Nigerians via the Tax Reform 2025, set to kickstart in January 2026. And yet, the same government goes ahead to increase salaries for politicians. Nigerians are the most calm and tolerable tolerable humans in the entire world. Well, the tax
would he have
reform, so many
Nigerians say?
times we've said, it favors a number of the common man. God is love says that then minimum wage should be 1 million naira. What is good for the goose should be for the gander.
I mentioned that earlier. I mentioned that earlier that it was going to lead to this, and that's why Labour is saying even the 200,000 that they had proposed for the minimum wage
will not be
have to look at it
accepted.
again.
Yes, and well, that is what they are saying on social media.
I completely agree with their view. The basic line, the bottom line is people working. Your work must be properly evaluated, and you are given wages commensurate to your productivity.
Are you also aware that there are some people in the, for example, let me just be more specific.
Yes.
Some people in the hallowed chambers, all the cameras have captured them sleeping many times. Would you call them productive and deserving of this kind of wage increase?
No. How you appear in the house, in whatever, which in the lawmaking house, how you appear does not matter. Is how you deploy the resources available to you, your offices, the memos you are presenting, and so on. So
are they showing working? Let me borrow the words of Professor Akpan. Are they showing working?
In what way?
In their disposition as
showing working is not whether you are sleeping in the office or not. Showing working is how much bills have you initiated? What and what have you done in the house that will enhance and bring succor to Nigerians? You can be snoring every day and doing something seriously in your office that will get bills across.
What you're doing outside, is that not reflective of what you're doing inside?
I don't understand.
Well, if they're captured sleeping, where they're supposed to be actively engaged in deliberations that will bring about reforms, don't you think they even sleep more in their private houses or even in their office where nobody's seeing them?
And how many such instances have you recorded of people sleeping while on duty in the house? How many? Very few. And some of them are maybe not too well and maybe not properly displayed. It's not a general thing.
Well, you talk about prestige.
Our houses are vibrant and very productive. I don't agree with you that has anything at all to do with the quality of legislation coming out of.
Well, you talk of prestige, and you even mentioned the civil service, that there are some of those who do not live up to expectation for the civil service. And so shouldn't that also be the basis for public office holders?
No, you are disposition. How you behave in the house, how you do things has absolutely nothing to do with the quality of legislation that is coming out of it. Sleeping is it an everyday business? Someone may feel sick and decide to do so. No. There's no connection.
Okay. Dr. Chris, we must thank you at this juncture.
But one last question.
Yeah.
How much do you think the president, the Senate, and the House of Reps members should earn? What should be the least?
Well, for the legislature, honestly, I do not know how to evaluate those ones because they have functions outside their basic salary. They have other functions like the constituencies and so on. No, but for the president of a nation, the ministers and so on, who have to depend on what the country decides, the legislature, they have their own budget. If we give our own president 4 or 5 million naira, by the time you reduce that to dollars, it's not like we will be
monthly salary.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I see.
By the time you reduce that to dollars, it's kind of some of these poor African countries are even paying more.
Okay.
Dr. Chris, thank you again, Dr. Chris Akpan, for coming. So much to talk about, but so little time.
Always my pleasure.
Thank you again.
We appreciate your time. We'll be back shortly.
With pleasure.